My beloved, that moment you didn't even know how to begin. I was already there, not watching from afar, not waiting for you to get it together. I was in the very place you thought I would avoid. You didn't realize it, but the silence you sat in wasn't empty. It was sacred not because you made it so, but because I was there, filling it with my presence, wrapping you in a quiet that heals instead of demands. I saw the way your shoulders dropped, not from peace, but from weariness. I noticed how your hands trembled not because of fear, but because of the weight they had been carrying far too long. You didn't speak, and still I listened. You don't have to name your pain for me to know it. You don't have to trace every thread of confusion for me to begin untangling it. I know the layers even you don't understand, and I don't ask you to dissect them. I just ask you to bring your heart. Even if your heart can only offer quiet ache, you see silence as a pause. I see it as a door, a sacred doorway into the parts of you that you didn't even know were aching. I walk into those places gently, not with correction, but with care. I don't stand at the threshold asking for proof. I step into the room and sit with you in the middle of the mess. You don't need to rise in strength before I show up in compassion. You don't need to feel me to be near me. I am not a God who requires the right feeling. I am the God who remains. Do you remember that day when you said, "I can't keep doing this"? You didn't say it loud, and maybe you didn't even say it out loud at all. But I heard it. I heard the sentence that never made it to your lips. I heard the cry that slipped behind your closed eyes. And I did not flinch. I stayed. You've been taught to believe that stillness means something's wrong. But what if stillness is where something sacred begins? Not brokenness, not failure, but formation. You see, in the silence, there is no performing, no pretending, no perfection to chase, just presence, and my presence doesn't require movement to be real. You were sitting there thinking nothing was happening, but everything was happening, everything holy, everything healing, everything necessary. You don't have to strive to be seen by me. You already are. You don't have to speak with clarity to be understood. I understand your groans, your sighs, the words you couldn't string together because emotion choked them. Even when you didn't invite me in, I came. Even when you didn't reach for me, I held you. Even when you believed your silence might push me away, it only drew me closer. You don't scare me with your quiet. You don't disappoint me when you're tired. I didn't choose you because of your spiritual momentum. I chose you because you are mine, and I know. I know the voice that echoes in your head when everything grows still, the one that says, "You're not enough." The one that whispers, "You should be doing more." But that voice is not mine. I am not the one who shames you into movement. I am the one who calls you into rest. You've carried so much trying to meet expectations I never placed on you. You've measured your value by your output. You've tried to pray enough, sing enough, feel enough. But my love was never placed on a scale. It simply is. It remains, unmoved. Even when you sit in silence, especially when you sit in silence. Let me say it again. You are not a failure because you're tired. You are not broken because you grew quiet. You are not behind because you paused. You are still mine, and you are still held. By me. The one who doesn't need your performance, just your presence. Stay here with me, not because you owe me something, but because I love being with you. In this moment, in this stillness, in this holy place you didn't even know was holy. You thought it was just a tired morning, but it was an altar. You thought it was just a pause, but it was a meeting. You thought nothing was happening, but I was breathing new life into the places that had long been weary. You didn't speak, but you stayed. And sometimes staying is the loudest declaration of love you'll ever give. And I heard it, I received it, and I answered with presence. My child, you've spent so much time trying to be strong, holding it together, not because you had peace, but because you were afraid of what might fall apart if you didn't. You've convinced yourself that if you rest, things will break. If you stop, something will be lost. If you pause, you'll never start again. But none of that came from me. I never asked you to be your own savior. I never asked you to carry the world on your shoulders. I never asked you to prove your value through unending effort. I only asked you to let me be near. I know what it feels like to wake up heavy, to go through the motions while your heart screams quietly behind your smile. I saw you trying to be okay for everyone else, and I also saw how tired your soul was from pretending. I never looked at you and said, "Try harder." I looked at you and said, "Come to me." Not because you had more to give, but because I had more to pour into you. Do you remember when you said, "I shouldn't feel this way"? I heard it, that inner voice that tried to invalidate your exhaustion, the guilt that whispered you were somehow less spiritual because you didn't feel joy. But that guilt never came from me. I am not the one who shames the broken. I'm the one who binds them up. I am not the one who demands your perfection. I'm the one who sits down beside your imperfection and says, "This is still holy ground." You've confused strength with suppression. But real strength is not denying your need. It's admitting it. It's letting me see the wounds, the fears, the doubts you've been too afraid to say aloud. I can handle all of it. I'm not scared of your humanity. I made you from dust and breath. I knew what I was doing. You've heard that you need to get back to me. But beloved, you were never out of my reach. Not even once. Even when your emotions shut down. Even when your prayers dried up. Even when you couldn't tell if you still believed. I was holding you. I don't step away when the fire dims. I draw closer to tend it. I don't need your spark to be blazing, I only need your willingness not to walk away. That morning you said nothing. You were still willing. And I honored that. Not with noise, not with pressure, but with peace. My peace. The kind that doesn't always feel dramatic, but holds you steady when everything else feels unsure. You were carrying weight that was never yours, trying to manage emotions that were never meant to be managed alone, trying to fix things I never told you to fix, trying to control outcomes I already have in my hands. You felt exhausted, not because you were weak, but because you were never meant to carry that load by yourself. Let me take it now. Let me hold the pieces that don't make sense to you. Let me be the one who sustains you, not because you perform, but because you rest. Yes, rest. Real rest. Not the kind where you sit down but your mind keeps spinning. The kind where you finally exhale. Where you no longer feel the need to perform even for me. Where you are free to be quiet, raw, unfinished, and safe. I am not in love with your potential. I'm in love with you. Now. Not the version you're trying to become. The version that's here, in this moment. Tired, unsure, but still mine. You've asked, am I doing enough? And I'm answering with this. You are not loved because of what you do. You are loved because you are mine. You've asked, have I failed you? And I say, you never failed me. You were never holding me together. I was always the one holding you. There is no checklist I need you to complete. There is no standard you must meet to be worthy of my presence. There is no ladder you must climb to find me. I'm already here. I didn't come for the polished. I came for the burdened. I came for the weary. I came for you, and I still do. That ache you've been carrying like a secret? I've felt it. That invisible weight no one else noticed? I've seen it. That moment you closed your eyes and whispered, I don't know what else to pray. I heard it as a sacred song. You're not too far. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are held. So breathe. right here. Let my voice be louder than the pressure. Let my presence be gentler than the fear. Let this be the place you finally lay the heavy down. You were not made for constant striving. You were made for communion. You were not designed to live drained. You were designed to live dependent on me. Let me carry what you can't. Let me refill what has been emptied. Let me love you not for your strength, but right in the center of your surrender. You don't need to explain, you don't need to fight to be seen. I already see you and I'm not leaving. My beloved, you've tried so hard to hold it together, to keep showing up, to keep proving you're okay. But what if today, I'm not asking you to hold on tighter? What if I'm asking you to let go? I don't mean give up. I don't mean collapse into despair. I mean release. Release the need to understand everything. Release the pressure to always feel strong. Release the fear that you'll disappoint me if you don't get it right. You've believed for too long that surrender was failure. But in my kingdom, surrender is where miracles begin. Not loud miracles that look impressive to the world, but quiet ones. The kind that happen deep within your heart. The kind that change everything even when nothing around you looks different yet. Let go. Not because you're careless, but because you're cared for. Not because you've run out of options, but because I've never run out of love. You've asked, what if I fall apart? And I say, then I will catch you. I've been catching you for longer than you've realized. I've been the cushion beneath your collapse, the arms beneath your fatigue. You never shocked me, not once. You've cried behind closed doors fearing that tears make you weak, but I treasure every tear. I collect them like treasure because they carry your truth. And I've always loved the truth in you, even when it came out in trembling hands and unanswered questions. This isn't about performance anymore. This is about presence, yours and mine. You've shown me your best, but now I'm asking for something deeper, your surrendered self. The version of you that doesn't know what's next. The version that's been trying so hard for so long and doesn't know if it has anything left. That's the version I came for. That's the version I stay for. I'm not asking you to prove your love through perfect consistency. I'm asking you to trust my love through honest surrender. You think, I only draw near when your heart is burning bright, but I draw near when it's just barely flickering too. I never despise your small flame. I never look away when you say, I don't have the words, God. Because what you're giving me is not less. It's real. And I always meet the real you with the fullness of me. You let go not because you're failing, but because you're finally realizing you were never meant to carry it all. You stop striving, not because you're giving up, but because you're coming home. Home to my rest, home to my arms, home to the place where nothing has to be proven, only received. Let me show you something sacred. There is glory in your unraveling. There is honor in your pause. There is beauty in your rawness. The world may not see it, but I do. They may say, get back up. But I say, rest here first. They may say, push through. But I whisper, let me carry you. You've been told your worth is in your strength, but I placed your worth in your identity. You are mine, and that has never depended on what you do. There is no shame in the slow days. There is no guilt in the quiet seasons. You are not being unspiritual when you sit in silence. You are being honest. And I always bless honesty over performance. I know you want to feel like you're moving forward again. But what if this stillness isn't stagnation? What if it's sacred preparation? You're not being lazy. You're being loved. You're not being forgotten. You're being formed. You're not falling behind. You're being brought deeper. And yes, I see how hard that is for you. To sit, to be, to not fix it all, to let go of the image of control, but I also see how brave it is to release, to say, I don't know, but I trust you, to breathe even when you feel broken. That's the kind of faith that shakes heaven. Not loud declarations, not forced optimism, but the quiet courage to surrender without knowing how it all ends. I'm not looking for you to figure it out. I'm looking for you to stay close. You don't have to understand the process. You just have to be willing to walk it with me. I want to lead you, yes, but not with a whip of urgency, with a whisper of peace. I want to show you how to move again, but from rest, not from pressure, not from guilt, not from performance. This is not a race. This is a return. Return to me. Return to the truth. You are safe. You are seen. You are loved, right now, exactly as you are. Let go of the fear that says you need to be more. Let go of the shame that says you're too far behind. Let go of the voice that says this season is wasted. It's not. Nothing surrendered to me is ever wasted. So lay it all down, now. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to defend your quiet. You don't need to apologize for your fatigue. I am not disappointed. I am delighted, because you let me in. That's all I've ever wanted. Not the perfect version of you, but the true one, the surrendered one, the one that finally said, I can't do this alone, and let me respond. I never asked you to. My beloved, you've always thought of healing as something that comes with noise, with movement, with revelation, with dramatic transformation. But what if I told you some of the greatest healing happens in stillness? Not the kind of stillness that feels forced, but the kind that comes when you finally let your soul breathe. When you stop trying to make sense of it all. When you stop trying to fix yourself before coming to me. When you lay down the tools and simply say, here I am, God, even if I'm empty. You think healing should look like energy, but it often looks like quiet. It looks like resting in the truth that you are already loved, already held, already being restored, even when you don't feel it. You were looking for thunder, but I came like a gentle whisper. You were waiting for a breakthrough, but I came with a blanket of peace. You've confused chaos with movement, and movement with progress. But I am not found in chaos. I am found in presence. And my presence doesn't need to be loud to be real. I don't shout over your pain. I sit with you in it. I don't rush you out of your sorrow. I hold space for it. And I sanctify it. I don't demand joy from you when all you have is survival. I bring joy back slowly, like light returning to a room that's been dark too long. You keep asking, why don't I feel better yet? But what if better doesn't come from doing more? What if it comes from finally stopping? Stopping the shame, stopping the self-analysis, stopping the inner war that says, I have to earn this healing. You don't. You never did. You never will. I am healing you in places even you haven't touched yet. In the slow, quiet, sacred work of my spirit within your spirit, where the words can't reach, but where my love flows unhindered. This stillness is not punishment, it's invitation. This pause is not failure, it's holy recovery. This fatigue is not a sign that you've let me down, it's a sign that you're ready to let me lift you up. You've been asking, what do I need to do to feel close again? And I'm answering, nothing. Just stay. Stay in the room. Stay in the stillness. Stay in the place where you don't have to say a word because I already know. This is where intimacy grows, not in constant activity, but in peaceful trust. In the awareness that I am with you, even when your heart feels numb. I see your tears, even when they don't fall. I hear your cries, even when you stay silent. I feel your longing, even when you don't know what you long for. You are not lost in this quiet. You are being found in it. I am not a distant God. I am the one who draws near without demand, without pressure, without judgment. Your soul needs rest, not just from work, but from worry, from trying to keep it together, from thinking it all depends on you. So come here. Let your soul lean into my steadiness. Let your body soften in my presence. Let your mind release what it can't resolve. This is the stillness that heals. It doesn't require you to figure anything out. It only asks that you stay open. There are places inside you that only silence can reach. There are wounds too deep for words, but not too deep for me. I am not asking for more than you have. I'm not waiting for you to bounce back with zeal. I am simply asking you to remain with me in this moment, as you are. I'm not fixing you like a problem. I'm holding you like a promise. You think stillness is weakness, but stillness is sacred. Stillness is surrender. Stillness is where the healing roots grow deep. Let the healing begin here, not with striving, but with surrender. Not with answers, but with rest. Let the stillness do what the striving could not. Let my nearness do what your energy could never achieve. Let my love soak into every tired corner of you until it no longer aches to be seen. I'm not rushing you. I'm not pushing you. I'm not demanding a quick recovery. I am pacing this with your heart. I am holding the slow unfolding of your restoration, and I am staying until the work is complete, not because you earned it, but because I love you. So breathe again. Breathe slow. Breathe deep. You are not alone in this stillness. You are not wasting time here. You are healing. You don't have to do anything for that to be true. Just let me stay. Let me carry. Let me be the stillness that heals you. My child, there are thoughts that have lived in you so long they started to sound like truth. They echoed for years in the background of your mind, unnoticed, unquestioned, unchallenged, but I see them, and I'm not angry at you for believing them. I know where they came from. I know the pain that planted them. I know the words others said and the silence that followed. I see the lie that says, "You're not enough." The one that says, "You should be stronger by now." The whisper that tells you, "Your weakness disqualifies you." And I say, let's bring those lies into the light, because they don't belong in you anymore. They never did. You've tried to resist them with willpower. You've tried to silence them with effort. But what if the renewal I want to bring doesn't start with your strength? What if it starts with my truth? I'm not asking you to fight your thoughts alone. I'm inviting you to let my voice get louder than theirs, not through noise, but through presence, not through pressure, but through peace. You've said, "I want to think differently, God." And I've heard that prayer, even when it was buried beneath confusion. You thought transformation would feel powerful, but sometimes it feels like quiet surrender, like opening your hands and saying, "God, I don't know what's true anymore. Can you tell me?" Yes, I can, and I will. Here is what's true. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not failing me. You are becoming. You are unfolding. You are still mine. You think, "I should have healed by now." But I say you are healing right now, in ways too deep for your mind to track. This is not regression, this is restoration, not performance-based, but presence-led. You are not a project to me. You are a person I deeply love, even on your most silent, least productive, most fragile days. Let me tell you what I see when I look at you. I don't see your confusion. I see your courage. I don't see your weakness. I see your willingness. I don't see someone falling apart. I see someone being reshaped. You think the silence means something is wrong, but I see the ground being cleared, old beliefs being pulled up by the roots, false stories being interrupted, and something new, something holy, being planted. I'm not intimidated by the lies you believed. I'm committed to replacing them. You don't have to rehearse them anymore. You don't have to agree with them anymore. You don't even have to fight them alone. Just bring them to me. Say, "God, I've believed this for so long, but if it's not from you, I don't want it anymore. That's where renewal begins, not in striving, but in surrender. You don't have to pretend to be certain. I honor your honesty far more than your certainty. You don't need a flawless mindset to be loved. You only need to be willing to come close. And you have been. You came close even in the fog, even in the doubt, even when your thoughts felt like a battlefield. You didn't run. You let me stay. So let me keep doing the work. I'm not rushing you. I'm not expecting instant clarity. I'm walking with you, slowly, gently, day by day, rewriting the story that fear wrote in your head. You don't have to fix your thoughts before I love you, but my love will slowly begin to fix the way you think. Not with condemnation, but with kindness. Not with force, but with faithfulness. You've carried old patterns for a long time. They told you that love had to be earned, that acceptance was fragile, that belonging could be lost. But I'm here to tell you the truth. You are not at risk of losing me. You never were. Not when you doubted, not when you hesitated, not even when you believed things I never said. I've always seen you, I've always known you, and I've always wanted to renew you, from the inside out. Not to make you someone else, but to restore the truth of who you've always been in me. Not perfect, but precious. Not always clear, but always covered. Not immune to lies, but never abandoned to them. This is the kind of healing that takes time. The kind that sinks deep roots. The kind that isn't always visible right away, but eventually changes everything. You won't have to hold on so tightly forever. You won't have to battle the same thoughts forever. I am leading you into freedom, and I'm doing it with love. So today, let the old voice fade. You don't need to listen to shame anymore. You don't need to measure yourself against fear. You don't need to earn the safety you already have with me. You are loved, you are being renewed, and I am staying through it all. Let this be the new thought that takes root. You are safe with me, even when your mind is tired, even when you forget again, even when your faith feels small. I am still here, still faithful, still renewing, still speaking truth over you, one gentle breath at a time. My beloved, there comes a moment in every journey when you must decide not to feel better, not to have it all figured out, but simply to trust again. Not because you see the whole picture, not because you've regained all your strength, not because everything suddenly makes sense, but because somewhere in the quiet you remember, I am still good, I am still here, and I am still worthy of your trust. You've been afraid to trust again. I know. Not because you don't love me, but because you've been wounded by disappointment. You've waited for answers that didn't come the way you expected. You've asked questions that echoed back in silence, and in the silence you wondered, can I still trust him? And I want you to know, that question does not offend me. I've never asked you for blind optimism. I've asked for honest trust, the kind that says, even if I don't understand, I choose to stay near. You see, trust is not a feeling. It's not about never wavering. It's not the absence of questions. It's the courage to bring your questions to me instead of walking away. I don't need your trust to be loud. I don't need it to be polished. I only need it to be real. Even a whisper of trust moves my heart. Even a flicker of hope, a breath of faith, a trembling yes is enough. Because it means you're still choosing me. And I never take that lightly. I saw when you chose to open your heart again, not all at once, but slowly, hesitantly, sincerely. You didn't fake it. You didn't force it. You came as you were. And that's the kind of trust I can work with. You didn't need to climb back to confidence. You only needed to let me meet you where you were, and you did. You let me in, even in the waiting. And that trust, quiet as it was, became your strength. Not the strength that impresses others, but the strength that carries you through unseen battles. You've believed at times that your faith was too fragile. But I want to show you something. Even fragile faith is honored here. I never asked you to feel fearless. I asked you to stay connected, to not give up when it felt easier to shut down. And you didn't. You're still here. That means something. That means everything. You think trust looks like always having the right words. But trust often sounds like, I don't know what to say, but I'm still here. And I receive that as worship. You've carried so many unspoken doubts and you assumed they disqualified you, but they didn't. They invited me closer. Your doubt doesn't drive me away. It draws me to respond in love. Even when you asked, God, are you still with me? My answer never changed. Yes, yes I am. Not because you said it right, not because you were strong, but because my faithfulness is greater than your fear. So here we are again. Not at the end of your pain, but at the beginning of deeper peace. Not because everything is fixed, but because you are learning to trust the one who holds what you cannot. And yes, I know that trusting again feels risky, but it's not trust in outcomes I'm asking for. It's trust in me, in my nature, in my heart for you. Outcomes may shift, circumstances may stretch, but I do not change. I am the same God who found you in silence, the same God who stayed when your words were gone, the same God who never stopped seeing you even when you were unsure of me. You can trust me again, not because you've healed everything, but because I'm the one doing the healing. You can trust me again, not because you've rebuilt all your strength, but because I've never stopped carrying you. You can trust me again, not because you have perfect clarity, but because my love is perfectly constant. So let today be simple. Let it be gentle. Let it be true. You don't have to work up courage, just offer me what you have, even if it's only this. God, I want to trust you again. Help me do it, and I will, I always will. I'm not demanding a leap, I'm inviting a step, not a performance, just a presence. Just your heart, soft again toward mine. Let your trust grow in the soil of my consistency, not in the resolution of your problems, but in the revelation of who I've always been. You've seen me in fire. Now I'm showing you what it means to see me in stillness. You've known me in the rush. Now you will know me in the quiet renewal, because when you trust me again, something shifts in you. Not everything at once, but enough to breathe again, enough to hope again, enough to move forward not in fear but in peace. So trust again, child, you are safe here, you are not too late, you are not too lost, you are not too uncertain, you are loved. My beloved, I know what you feared most, that if you stop doing, if you stop trying, if you stop giving me your best, I might stop loving you. But that is not my way. I never loved you because of your perfection. I never stayed because of your performance. I came to you before you even knew how to reach for me. And I stayed when all you could offer was silence. That should tell you something. My love was never conditional. It was never something to earn. It was always a gift, freely given, unshakably present. And it still is. You've looked at your moments of struggle and thought, surely he's disappointed in me. But I want to tell you this clearly. I don't delight in your strength more than your surrender. I don't celebrate your victories more than your vulnerability. What moves me most is not your ability, but your honesty. Not your success, but your soft, open heart that still dares to be mine, even in weakness. You keep asking, am I still lovable like this? And I answer you now the way I've answered you every day. Yes, you are loved on the days when you are full of worship, and you are just as loved on the days when you have nothing to say. You are loved when you shine. You are loved when you shatter. You are loved when your prayers feel powerful. And you are loved when your thoughts are tangled and unsure. There has never been a version of you that I did not love. There has never been a single day I looked away from you. You've confused your feelings with my faithfulness. But my love isn't attached to your emotional state. It doesn't rise and fall with your clarity. It simply stays. I've watched you carry guilt you were never meant to bear. Guilt for being tired. Guilt for being distant. Guilt for not always feeling spiritual enough. But I did not place that burden on you. I do not speak the language of guilt. I speak the language of grace. You think I want more effort, but what I want is more of your heart, and not the polished version, but the present one, even when you feel messy, even when you feel unsure, even when you feel numb. Because my love doesn't recoil at your humanity, it reaches deeper into it. I love you in your dust. I love you in your doubt. I love you in the unfinished parts you wish you could fast forward. Let go of the fear that says, I must earn my place here. You already belong. You belonged the moment I breathed life into you. You belonged before you got anything right. You belong now, fully, completely, irrevocably. You're not a visitor in my presence. You're not a guest I might send away. You're not a burden I'm trying to manage. You are mine, and I call you beloved. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are to me. You've asked, what if I mess up again? And I say, then I will still be here. You've whispered, what if I don't have anything to give? And I say, I'm not here to take from you, I'm here to give. You've wondered, do I have to fix myself first? And I answer, no. That's what I came to do. With you, not without you. I am not the God who waits for you to improve before embracing you. I am the God who wraps you in love while you're still wondering if you're worth it. And you are. You always have been. You are worth loving when you're bold and confident. And you are just as worthy when you're quiet and questioning. Let that settle in you today. Let it dissolve the shame. Let it quiet the pressure. My love is not a response to your goodness. It is the source of it. My love does not require effort. It invites rest. You don't have to earn what I already gave. You don't have to hustle for what is already yours. You don't have to perform to stay close. You're already held, already wanted, already enough. So breathe. Right here. In the middle of all that still feels unresolved, and let this truth wash over you. You are loved, not because of what you do, but because of who I am. And I am love that does not leave. My beloved, there comes a time to rise again. Not in a rush, not in panic, but in peace. Not because you have something to prove, but because something inside you has been renewed. Quietly, slowly, faithfully. You may not even realize it, but the silence has made space for strength. Not the strength you used to chase, the kind that exhausts and performs, but the kind that steadies, the kind that roots you deep and lets you move forward gently. This is not a relaunch. This is not a reset you need to earn. This is simply me taking your hand and walking with you, one quiet step at a time. You've wondered if you're ready. You've waited to feel different first. But readiness doesn't always come with certainty. It comes with surrender. It comes with trust. You don't have to know everything, you just need to remember you're not alone. The pressure to figure it all out, let's leave that behind. The expectation to be impressive, let's lay it down. The fear of getting it wrong, give that to me. I'm not asking you to sprint, I'm not asking you to leap. I'm only asking you to walk with me. There will be days ahead when the silence returns. That's okay. There will be moments when uncertainty creeps back in. That's human. There may even be times when you question if you've truly healed, but I want you to know, healing is not a straight line. It's a living rhythm, and every part of it matters. The quiet, the pause, the tears, the stillness. Even the days when you feel like you've forgotten everything I told you. I haven't forgotten you. I didn't waste a single day of your waiting. I didn't overlook a single sigh. Everything hidden has been held. Everything broken has been tended. Everything silent has been sacred. Now I'm calling you forward. Not because the season of rest has ended, but because it's done its work. You're not starting over, you're starting new. There's a difference. Starting over feels like shame. Starting new feels like grace. You don't need a grand plan. You don't need a detailed map. All you need is my hand, and you already have it. This beginning will be marked by peace, by deep knowing, by quiet strength, by the steady beat of my love under every step. I'm not sending you alone. I'm going with you. I'm not demanding outcomes. I'm inviting trust. You may not feel ready, but I'm not waiting for readiness. I'm waiting for your yes. So let today begin like this. Not with striving, but with surrender. Not with pressure, but with peace. Not with performance, but with presence. You don't need to do something spectacular to begin. You just need to say, I'm willing. Willing to try again. Willing to hope again. Willing to believe I'm still writing a beautiful story through you. And I am. The quiet days did not disqualify you. They deepened you. The stillness did not displace you. It prepared you. What you thought was a delay was actually design. Now as you take this next step, do it with no fear of failing. Because I am not watching to see if you succeed. I am walking to remind you that you are safe. You don't have to feel powerful. You just need to feel held. And you are. So let's begin again. Not from the place of pressure, but from the place of presence. Not from the demand to get it all right, but from the joy of being fully known and fully loved. This is your gentle beginning. And I am with you in it. Every step, every pause, every moment you return to me. Let this be the season not of proving yourself, but of living as someone already chosen. My beloved, you've been trained to look for me in the grand, in the breakthroughs, in the fire from heaven moments, in the swelling music, the loud worship, the open miracles. But let me remind you, I'm just as present in the small, in the quiet choices, in the ordinary obedience, in the hidden places no one else applauds. You won't always feel me with fireworks. Sometimes you'll feel me in a breath, in the way the morning light touches your face, in the strength it takes to get out of bed again, in the whisper that says, try again today, I'm still with you. You keep asking, where is God in this? And I answer, right here, in the moment you forgave even when it still hurt, in the decision to keep walking when nothing made sense, in the breath you took when you wanted to run, in the silence you offered me instead of pretending. I am not just the God of the dramatic. I'm the God of the daily, of quiet resolve, of unnoticed faithfulness. The world may not see what you're doing, but I see, and I delight in it. You've believed the lie that your small steps don't matter, that unless it's visible, measurable, praiseworthy, it isn't powerful. But I want you to know, heaven does not measure worth the way the world does. I bless the unseen. I honor the unnoticed. I move through the moments you call too small. You think the day was wasted because you didn't do much. But I saw every moment you chose love when you could have chosen retreat. I saw every internal battle no one else knew about, and I celebrate victories the world cannot name. Let me tell you something deeply true. The smallest steps of faith are still steps, and I walk beside everyone. When you chose to trust again, even in fear, I was there. When you stayed instead of shutting down, I was proud. When you whispered hope through tears, I heard it louder than any sermon. You don't need a platform to please me. You don't need applause to be faithful. You only need to stay open. Stay soft. Stay with me. You are growing more than you realize, not in a way that screams, but in a way that roots. You're not becoming someone else. You're becoming more of who I always intended you to be. More grounded, more honest, more present, more free. So don't despise the small things. Don't wait for some bigger day to believe I'm near. I'm in the dishes you washed when you felt depleted. I'm in the breath you took instead of breaking down. I'm in the steps you walked into forgiveness, even when it cost you everything inside. I know how much you long to do something great, but child, you already are. Because greatness in my eyes has never been about spotlight. It's always been about surrender. And you've surrendered again and again, even when you didn't call it that. Every time you stayed tender in disappointment, that was worship. Every time you let me stay close in your silence, that was faith. Every time you dared to hope again, that was holy. Let this sink in. I am not more impressed by your achievements than I am moved by your trust. What you see as a quiet survival day I call sacred endurance. You are not falling short. You are walking faithfully. You are not invisible. You are intimately seen. You are not ineffective. You are deeply impactful, in ways only eternity will fully reveal. So don't wait for things to get louder to believe I'm speaking. Don't wait for things to get clearer to believe I'm leading. Don't wait for public fruit to believe I'm planting something real. I am with you in every small offering, in every gentle yes, in every unknown moment where you choose to keep your heart open to me. This is what obedience looks like. This is what faithfulness feels like, and this is where I am most pleased. Not when you impress, but when you stay close. So today, if all you do is take a breath and choose to believe I'm here, that is enough. If all you do is offer your presence, even if uncertain, I'll call it worship. The little things are not little to me. They are seeds, and I will make them grow. Slowly, sacredly, eternally. So keep walking, keep trusting, keep offering me the small things. I am here, and I always will be. My beloved, you've heard it said, don't lose hope. But no one told you how. No one told you what to do when hope felt more like a memory than a promise, when your prayers didn't seem to change anything, when silence became more familiar than clarity. So you wondered, am I failing for feeling this numb? Is something wrong with me because I don't feel hope anymore? But hear me clearly. Hope is not a feeling you have to chase. Hope is a person you can hold, and I am that person. You don't have to feel it all to still have it, because true hope doesn't begin with you, it begins with me. I know how hard it's been to hold on. You've been through moments that tried to convince you to quit, nights when nothing made sense, days when all you could do was keep breathing. But hope isn't measured by your emotional state. It's measured by your connection to me. Even when you said nothing, you stayed near. Even when you couldn't feel joy, you stayed open. Even when you doubted, you didn't disconnect. And that, my child, is what hope really looks like. Hope is not the absence of ache. It's the presence of me in the middle of it. Hope is not a perfect vision for the future. It's the trust that I am still good even when you can't see ahead. Hope is not loud. It often whispers. It often sits quietly beside sorrow and simply refuses to leave. That's how I've been holding you, not trying to force you forward, just staying with you until your heart felt safe enough to rise again. You've asked, will I ever feel hope like I used to? But what if I'm giving you something better? Not a return to what was, but a deeper, more anchored hope that doesn't depend on emotion. I'm not here to recreate the past, I'm here to ground you in something stronger. This kind of hope doesn't shatter when the winds blow. It bends, but it holds. It weeps, but it doesn't abandon. It questions, but it stays close. Because this hope is not wishful thinking. It's presence. It's me. Let me say it gently. You have not failed just because you feel tired. You are not hopeless just because you feel numb. You are not faithless just because your passion has quieted. You are still here, and so am I. That is what hope looks like, connection that endures. The world taught you that hope must look victorious, but I'm teaching you that hope often looks like staying. Staying when there's no clarity. Staying when there's no applause. Staying when all you have left is breath and belief in a God who does not change. You may not see the full picture yet, but I do, and I know this. What I began in you is not over. The story I'm writing in your life hasn't gone quiet, it's just going deeper. I haven't forgotten you. I haven't paused my promises. I haven't misplaced your calling. Every day you've endured has been sacred ground. Every tear you've cried has watered the roots of a future full of hope. You don't see it yet, but the fruit is forming. So let hope look different now. Not flashy, not forced, just faithful. Let it look like trusting me again today. Let it look like choosing to believe that what you carry matters. Let it look like praying again, even softly. Let it look like holding my hand and walking forward slowly. You don't need more energy to have hope. You need connection, and you already have it. Let this be your new definition. Hope is not how you feel. Hope is who you're with, and you're with me. You always have been. You always will be. So breathe today not from pressure, but from promise. Let the heaviness fall off your shoulders. Let me be the one who hopes for you when you feel like you can't. You don't have to stir it up. I am the one who breathes life back into you. And I'm doing that even now. Gently, quietly, steadily. This is not the end. This is the turning. This is where hope begins again. And it begins not in strength, but in surrender. Not in clarity, but in connection. You are still held. You are still seen. You are still covered in a hope that never gives up on you. Let that be enough today. Let me be enough today. My beloved, you've come through a valley that few understood. You've walked through shadows that didn't have names. You sat in silence that others couldn't interpret, but I did. I saw every step you took when your feet felt heavy. I heard every breath you offered as a quiet yes. I never once questioned your worth in the waiting. I was too busy holding you. And now, you are standing again. You may not feel strong, but you are steady. Not because of effort, but because of me. You have not earned your way here. You have received your way here. You have surrendered, and I have built something in you that cannot be shaken. This is not the same beginning. You are not starting over. You are starting from within. You are stepping out not to prove anything, but to live what's already true. You are held. You are healed in places you don't even see yet. You are more whole than you feel. You are more ready than you realize. So walk. But walk like someone who knows they are covered. Not in fear of falling, but in awareness that even if you do, I will catch you again. You've lived long enough from a place of survival. Now I want you to live from a place of safety. You've carried pressure like armor, but I'm clothing you in peace. You don't need to brace yourself anymore. You don't need to keep scanning the horizon waiting for the next thing to go wrong. What if this time you walked not expecting disappointment, but expecting my faithfulness to show up again? You are not walking alone into a battlefield. You are walking with me through a garden I've been preparing. There will be work to do, yes. There will be moments that stretch you. But the difference now is this. You know where your strength comes from. You don't have to manufacture courage. You can receive it. You don't have to fight for identity. You can rest in it. You don't have to chase me. You can walk with me. Let that be your new rhythm, walking with me, not ahead of me, not behind me, but beside me, where you were always meant to be. You keep asking, what if I'm not enough for what's next? But I want you to stop measuring what's next by what you see in yourself, and start measuring it by who I am in you. You are not walking into the unknown alone. I go before you. I walk with you. I come behind you. I surround you completely. So go. Not because the path is clear, but because my presence is certain. I've placed things in you during your quiet season that no one else saw. Compassion, depth, resilience. Peace that passes understanding. These are not small things. They are holy foundations, and they will speak louder than you realize. You don't have to perform your healing, just live from it. Let it speak through how you love, how you listen, how you stay soft in a world that celebrates hardness. The enemy will try to tell you, you're still the same. But I say, you've been changed. You are not who you were when you entered the silence. You are someone who knows what it means to be loved in the low places. And because of that, you will carry my love in a way that can touch others even in their silence. You are not just healed, you are being made whole. And wholeness doesn't mean you never feel weak. It means you know where to go when you are, and you know. You've learned, you've lived through it. So walk forward, without pressure to impress, without fear of failing, without trying to carry more than you're meant to. You are not being launched. You are being led. You are not being tested. You are being trusted. I trust you not because you are perfect, but because you let me form you in the quiet. And what I've shaped in you will stand. Let this be your confidence. You are walking in the wake of my presence. You are moving with heaven's rhythm. You are stepping in sync with the one who never left your side. You may still feel unsure, but walk anyway, as one who is already held, already loved, already anointed, already enough, and I will walk with you. Every mile, every moment, every breath. My beloved, you remember what it felt like to sit in silence and not know what to say. You remember the ache, the fear that no one saw, the tiredness that didn't have a name. You remember the shame that whispered, "You're too quiet. You're not enough." And you remember what happened when I sat beside you anyway, when I didn't require words, when I didn't rush you, when I just stayed. That memory isn't meant to fade. It's meant to form something in you, because now you carry something others need. Not answers, not perfection, but presence. You have become a place where others can exhale, because you know what it means to breathe again. The comfort you received was not just for your survival, it was for your calling. What I gave to you in the quiet, I'm now inviting you to give away. Not in pressure, but in peace. You don't need a stage to do it. You don't need a title. You only need a heart that remembers what it means to feel lost and still be loved. Because there are people around you right now who are walking through silent battles. Battles that look just like yours once did. And you carry keys you didn't even know were forming in you. Not keys to unlock everything, but keys to simply stay. You've learned something sacred, that love doesn't always speak first. Sometimes it just sits beside pain without trying to fix it. Sometimes it holds space until the soul can breathe again. And now I'm calling you to be that space for others. You don't have to explain me. You don't have to convince anyone. You just have to stay. Like I stayed with you. You just have to carry peace. Like I carried you. You just have to create safety. Like I became for you. This is what ministry looks like in my kingdom. Presence over pressure, peace over performance, compassion over commentary. You are not here to impress people into belief. You are here to embody the love that never left you. Every quiet morning you thought was wasted, it formed something eternal. Every time you chose to stay when you felt nothing, it planted endurance that will bear fruit now. Every ache you offered to me in honesty, it became an altar. And now, from that altar, I will feed others. I am not asking you to be perfect, I'm asking you to be real, I'm asking you to be present, to let your own healing become a refuge for the weary. You don't need the right words, you need the right heart, and you already have it, because you have mine. Let that be enough. You're not here to fix broken hearts, but you can remind them that they are not alone. You're not responsible for someone else's breakthrough, but you can hold space until they're ready to reach for it. Your life is no longer about what you can build. It's about what you can carry. And you carry me. You carry my mercy. You carry the kind of love that listens, that sees, that stays. There will be moments when someone sits across from you and says nothing, just like you once did. And in that silence, you'll feel it. That holy echo of the day I held you, and you will not panic, you will not preach, you will not fill the space with noise. You will simply remain, and in your stillness, they will feel me, because I am in you, I am with you, and I move through you now, just as gently, just as deeply, as I moved in you. You asked me, what was all that silence for? And I answer now, it was to make you a shelter, a steady place in an unsteady world, a quiet presence in a loud generation, a reminder that love doesn't always shout, sometimes it stays. You are that reminder now. You don't have to be loud to be used. You don't have to be confident to be compassionate. You don't have to be perfect to carry my peace. You just have to stay soft. Stay near. Stay willing. This is how I build my kingdom. Through those who were broken, but stayed. Through those who doubted, but didn't disconnect. Through those who said nothing, but gave me everything. And now, through you. Let your healed silence speak. Let your presence preach. Let your love echo what mine has always said. I see you. I'm staying. My beloved, you've walked through fire, but it didn't consume you. You've sat in silence, but it didn't separate you from me. You've been undone, but you were never unloved. And now, you are no longer the same. You look in the mirror and wonder, am I still the person I used to be? And I whisper back, no, you're not. You've changed. Not in ways the world always celebrates. Not in ways that make noise, but in ways that matter far more. You've changed at the root. You've softened in surrender. You've deepened in silence. You've grown in grace. And no, you will never go back. Because what I've done in you, you couldn't undo if you tried. You've crossed a threshold, not into perfection, but into presence. Not into performance, but into peace. The version of you that carried shame like armor. She's not coming back. The one who thought she had to earn love to keep it. He's gone. The soul that believed rest was laziness, that silence was failure, that weakness meant disqualification. You've outgrown that version of yourself. You didn't just survive the valley, you were transformed in it. You've asked, will I ever feel like myself again? But child, you've mistaken the old weight for identity. You thought the striving was part of you. You thought the overthinking was just who you were. You thought the numbness was your normal. But I was never calling you back to what was. I've been calling you forward into who you've become. You are lighter now, freer now, clearer now, because the burden of being someone you were never meant to be has finally lifted. No, you're not going back. You're moving forward with a new name written on your soul. Beloved, held, whole, present, safe, steady. You don't need to explain this shift to anyone. You don't need to justify why you've changed. You don't need permission to move forward without carrying what used to define you. You don't owe the past an apology. You don't owe shame another chapter. I've already turned the page, and this new one begins with clarity. You are no longer who you were. And yes, there may be days when the old voices return, but now, you know they are lies. Now you can recognize the false burdens. Now you have the tools to return to peace, to stillness, to me. That's the power of transformation. Not that the storm never comes again, but that it no longer decides your direction. You've been rebuilt from the inside out. And no one can take that from you. This isn't just recovery. This is rebirth. You've wept, you've waited, you've whispered yes in the dark, and now I say, you have become new. Not because you earned it, but because you stayed with me when you had nothing left. That's where the deep change happens. Not in your striving, but in your surrender. Not in what you achieved, but in what you allowed me to reshape. And I did. I reshaped you. So don't be surprised when you no longer respond like you used to. When the things that used to tempt you no longer hold power. When the weights that used to break you now feel lighter. That's not detachment. That's deliverance. You are no longer owned by fear, no longer bound by pressure, no longer driven by shame. You walk differently now because you know who walks with you. You speak differently now because you know what voice speaks over you. You live differently now because you are no longer searching for love. You are rooted in it. Let this be your declaration. I'm not going back. Not because you're trying to be better, but because you've been made new. I didn't patch you up. I recreated you. I didn't just restore what was lost. I rewrote the story entirely. And this story leads forward. Not in loops, not in relapses, but in revelation. So walk forward, not as someone who barely made it, but as someone who carries the weight of grace well. You are not fragile. You are formed. You are not broken. You are becoming. And I will walk with you into every new day, not as the God of your past pain, but as the God of your present joy, your future wholeness, your eternal belonging. You've changed, forever, and I'm so proud of who you've become. My beloved, there is a new stillness inside you, not the kind that comes from exhaustion, not the kind that feels like giving up, but the kind that comes from knowing, truly knowing, that you are safe, that you are held, that you are no longer at the mercy of fear. You used to live from reaction. Now you live from revelation. You used to let chaos decide how you moved. Now you let peace decide where you stay. That's what I've been building in you. Not just comfort in pain, but confidence in my presence. You are not easily shaken anymore, because your roots go deeper than the surface now. You don't flinch the way you used to. You don't question your worth every time the world grows quiet. You don't collapse under the weight of uncertainty, because something inside you remembers. I am still with you. I never left, and I never will. This is the kind of strength that no one sees at first, the kind born in secret, in silence, in surrender. But now, it begins to show, not in loud declarations, but in the way you carry peace, in the way you breathe deeper, in the way you no longer chase what was never meant to hold you. You've wondered, will the fear come back? Will the old patterns return? But I want you to hear this clearly. The place I've brought you to now is not fragile. This isn't a temporary high, it's a foundation. This isn't a fleeting feeling, it's an established truth. You are grounded, not because you control your emotions, but because you've anchored your identity in me. Let me say it plainly. You are not weak. You are not unstable. You are not behind. You are established. You are aligned. You are anointed. From this place, you will walk with clarity. You will speak with gentleness, but also with authority. You will discern the difference between noise and truth. You'll recognize old lies when they try to come back, and you'll no longer entertain them. Because truth sounds different now. It feels familiar. It feels like home. You don't have to wrestle with every thought anymore. Now you recognize which ones carry my voice and which ones never did. That's what discernment looks like, not fighting every battle, but knowing which ones aren't yours to fight. You've always had strength, but now it's refined. Now it's quiet. Now it's rooted. The storms may come, but they won't move you. The noise may rise, but it won't shake you, because my word in you is louder than anything around you. You've stopped living by reaction. You've stopped bending to pressure. You've stopped letting every emotion redefine your identity. Now, you live from within. Now you live from peace. Now you live from the presence that has never stopped pursuing you. This is what wholeness sounds like. Stillness without fear. Boldness without noise. Peace without needing to explain it. You're no longer trying to prove anything. You're no longer searching for evidence that you are loved. You're simply living like someone who knows it, and that changes everything. You speak differently now, not to be heard, but to bring healing. You rest differently now, not out of burnout, but out of alignment. You love differently now, not to be accepted, but because you are already accepted. You've stopped living for approval because you already have mine. You've stopped striving for purpose because now you're living from it. Let that awareness carry you. Let that peace follow you. Let that truth hold you steady when the path ahead feels unfamiliar again. You are not afraid of silence anymore. You are not intimidated by stillness. Because now, you've met me there, and you've found yourself there too. So here's what I want you to know. You don't have to be afraid of what's next. You don't have to anticipate loss. You don't have to question your worth in every season. You are rooted now, and the roots will hold, because I planted them myself, and what I plant I keep. What I water I cause to flourish. You are flourishing, even if you can't yet see the bloom. So walk from this place, this deep, quiet, holy center where truth lives, where peace speaks louder than panic, where identity is no longer fragile. This is who you are now. Someone who is not easily shaken. Someone who knows how to return to stillness. Someone who doesn't lose themselves when the world spins fast. You are not unstable. You are unshakable. Because I made you so. Because I remain in you, and because I'm not going anywhere. My beloved, you've walked through the silence, you've stayed in the stillness, you've allowed yourself to be held. And now, something has shifted. You are not just healed, you are entrusted. Not because you've earned it, but because you've been changed by love. This love you carry now is not for you alone. It's meant to move through you. Not loudly, not forcefully, but steadily, softly, like breath, like me. You once asked, what could I possibly give to others when I'm still learning to breathe again? And I want you to hear my answer clearly. You don't give from what you perform. You give from who you are. And who you are is someone who knows what it means to be met in the middle of emptiness. Someone who knows that presence can be more powerful than answers. Someone who has experienced firsthand that love doesn't require polish. This world doesn't need another voice shouting for attention. It needs hearts who carry peace. It needs eyes that see pain without flinching. It needs people like you, not the version of you that has it all figured out, but the one who has been faithfully undone and rebuilt in grace. You may not feel like a leader. You may not think you're strong enough to carry anyone else, but I'm not sending you to impress the world. I'm sending you to be a resting place, a walking sanctuary, a quiet invitation for weary souls to exhale. You are not called to be loud. You are called to be present. You are not called to fix. You are called to see, to hold space, to remind others, gently, that they are not alone. And the power you carry now, it's not in your words. It's in your stillness. It's in the way you no longer rush to solve. In the way you listen without judgment. In the way you show up without pressure. Because you've learned what few are willing to believe. That transformation often begins in quiet and love is most visible when it's least expected. You've walked through the ache. Now you can walk with others through theirs. Don't underestimate what I've placed inside you. Don't look at your soft edges and think they make you weak. They make you safe. They make you a shelter. You carry what I've poured into you. Not just knowledge, but presence. Not just theology, but tenderness. Not just inspiration, but incarnation. The word made real through your love. You don't have to try harder to be useful. You only need to stay available. That's where the miracles happen. You are the one who will sit with the silent. You will hear what others overlook. You will see the soul in stillness and know how to stay. You won't always need to speak. Sometimes your peace will do the speaking for you. Sometimes your calm presence will be the invitation others didn't know they needed. You don't have to force connection. You don't have to chase impact. You don't have to gather followers or craft perfect moments. Just be where I send you. Love who I place in front of you. Remain rooted in the presence you've come to cherish, and I will do the rest. Your life is not meant to be impressive. It's meant to be fruitful, and fruit doesn't rush. It grows, quietly, faithfully, naturally. The kind of life you carry now is the kind that bears fruit in due season, not always visible at first, but always consistent. Always rooted, always real. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to fear being poured out, because I am your constant filling. You don't have to be afraid of being needed, because you know what it means to need me first. That's what makes your love trustworthy. It flows from overflow, not obligation. It springs from grace, not guilt. You are no longer trying to be enough for others. You are simply bringing them to the one who has always been enough for you. So go gently, but don't go small. You were made to carry light into dark places, to walk slowly through frantic rooms and shift the atmosphere. Not by trying, but by being, by remaining, by listening, by loving without needing credit. You are a carrier of peace now, not the fragile kind, but the anchored kind. The kind that doesn't panic when emotions rise, the kind that doesn't run when silence returns. You are not here to be impressive. You are here to be real, to live what I've whispered to you, to love others the way I've loved you, softly, faithfully, completely. You don't have to plan it all. You just need to be willing to respond when I lead, to keep space in your heart for those who are weary, to let me love them through you. That's your ministry. That's your purpose. That's your strength. You are not only someone I healed, you are someone I trust. And I don't give that lightly, but I give it to you. So walk from this place knowing you are not too quiet. You are not too late. You are not too soft. You are strong in the ways that matter most. And this world needs what you carry, even if they don't know how to ask for it. Even if they don't know how to name it, they will feel it. My presence through you. Let that be enough. Let that be the calling. Let that be the song your life sings. I was healed by love, and now I walk in it. I was held in silence, and now I carry peace. I was never alone, and I will remind others of the same. My beloved, this is where it all comes together. Not in the noise, not in the striving, but here, in this calm, holy hush, where your spirit finally knows you are home. You've walked the long road. You've carried the ache. You've asked questions in silence and waited without answers. And still you stayed. You stayed open. You stayed soft. You stayed close, not by effort, but by trust. And now, this truth burns in you like a flame that will not go out. You were always loved. You were never forgotten. You were never alone. There's nothing left to prove. Nothing left to earn. Only this: to be loved. To stay loved. To live as one who knows what love truly is. This is your strength now, not your perfection, not your performance, but your presence, rooted, soft, deep, alive. Let me tell you again, slowly so your soul can finally rest. You don't have to hustle to belong. You don't have to force your way into purpose. You don't have to fear your quiet seasons. You belong already. Your purpose is unfolding naturally. Your quiet has been holy all along. You've been led through silence so you could become someone who carries peace that doesn't shout, a peace that simply is. So now as you rise, know that I rise with you. I do not stay behind in the silence. I go before you, I walk beside you, I dwell within you. I am your inner fire, your steady rhythm, your unshakable home. You've seen me as your shelter. Now you will see me as your courage. You've known me as the one who stays in stillness. Now you will know me as the one who moves through you. Don't worry about what's next. You're not being pushed forward. You're being carried forward. You're not being sent to perform. You're being released to shine. The world doesn't need your noise. It needs your anchored flame, the one lit when everything else went quiet. The one I breathed into being when you said nothing. The one that stayed, even when hope felt thin. That's what you carry now. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the truest part. The part where you live from rest, where you walk in peace, where you speak only as love leads, where you create not from pressure but from presence, where every step is aligned with the rhythm I wrote into your soul. You will not need to chase clarity. It will come gently as you remain rooted. You will not need to force connection. Love will draw whom it needs to you, and through it all I will be the same. Still, steady, faithful. You've asked me before, what will I do when the silence returns? And I tell you now, let it. Do not fear it. Do not rush to escape it. Because now you know, the silence is not the end. It's the threshold. It's the invitation. It's the doorway where my voice is heard, not in thunder, but in closeness. And in that quiet, I will sit with you again. And it will be sacred, every single time. So here you are, carried through the dark, healed by presence, anchored in love, and standing at the edge of something new. This is not a mission. It's a movement, a life led not by fear but by flow, not by control, but by communion. You will live as one who knows they are loved, and that knowing will be contagious. You will walk into rooms and bring rest. You will speak softly and shift atmospheres. You will listen without judgment and heal without trying. Because peace lives in you now. Because I live in you now. Because love has taken root so deeply that nothing can uproot it. Let me say it simply, so that your soul remembers it on the hardest days. I delight in you, not for what you say, not for what you do, but for who you are. You are my resting place and I am yours. You are not a project to me. You are not a disappointment. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are chosen. You are beloved. You are mine. So breathe now, not to calm your panic, but to celebrate your peace. You made it, not by being perfect, but by remaining. You didn't outrun the storm. You let me sit with you in it. And that's where everything changed. Let this be your rhythm now. Slow, sacred, surrendered. Let this be your posture. Hands open, heart soft, eyes steady. Let this be your declaration, not shouted but breathed. I am loved, still, always. And every time you feel the ache again, every time the words escape you, every time your soul grows quiet and the world doesn't understand, remember this. You said nothing. And I stayed, and I will stay again, and again, and again, until the end of all things, until the beginning of forever. I am with you, always.